Sarah Palin's interview with Charlie Gibson tonight included her repeating her now notorious line about the bridge to nowhere story, denying that she was for that bridge before she was against it. Palin claimed she was just trying to get money for infrastructure the way that everyone does. She also tried to explain that she's against congressional earmark spending, even though she used to be for that too.
And Charlie, we killed the bridge to nowhere, and that's the bottom line.
You said you now agree with John McCain that earmark should be eliminated. The state of Alaska governor this year requested $3.2 million for researching the genetics of harbor seals, money to study the mating habits of crabs. Isn't that exactly the kind of thing that John McCain is objecting to?
Those requests through our research divisions in Fish and Game and our wildlife departments and our university, those research requests did come through that system. But wanting it to be in the light of day, not behind closed doors with lobbyists making deals with Congress to stick things in there under the public radar, that's the abuse that we're going to stop.
So the genetics of harbor seals thing is the good kind of pork? Let's bring in now Joan Walsh, who's the editor-in-chief of Salon.com. Joan, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Rachel.
So Governor Palin's second sit-down with Charlie Gibson, the second part of this interview, your overall impression of how well she did?
Well, I think last night he demolished the idea that she could be our commander-in-chief with his questions about foreign policy that she really kind of blew. And tonight I think he demolished the other McCain storyline, which is that she's this great reformer. He did kind of sort of get her to admit that she's been lying about supporting the bridge to nowhere. She kind of had to come out and say, well, she did support it, but maybe not for $400 million. She was, bobbing and weaving. And then on the earmarks question, I mean, it's ridiculous. That's what earmarks are. Sometimes they come through universities. When she was mayor of Wasilla, she actually hired lobbyists, the lobbyists she's decrying, to bring in $27 million in earmarks. And all of this happened on a day that John McCain is out there saying she doesn't ask for any earmarks on The View. So I think it was a pretty bad day for her.
The source of Sarah Palin's political power is her appeal to the very far right-wing base of the Republican Party. She's seen as giving that ticket conservative credibility, particularly on the issue of fiscal responsibility, which is an area where John McCain has had his issues with the base. So are these questions about the bridge to nowhere, about earmarks, about her raising taxes as a mayor, for example, are these things potentially going to weaken her appeal to that base and therefore weaken her political power?
I clearly think that they should. I mean, you could make a different argument about her, Rachel. Let's say you wanted to say she's been an effective governor, she was an effective mayor, she fought for pork, she brought home the bacon. A lot of politicians run on records like that. She might be able to make that case, but instead it's very strange that she's making the exact opposite case. I mean, the LA Times reported last week that a senator named John McCain actually personally opposed certain earmarks that she asked for when she was the mayor of Wasilla. So they're completely at cross purposes when it comes to their messaging around pork and earmarks and reform. And I just think they're going to keep colliding on this because there's so much in the public record about what she's done.
Beyond the substance, is it possible that she is winning on style? Is it possible that we're seeing in the reaction to this interview something a little bit like George W. Bush debating Al Gore, in which people a lot of people reacted to those debates by saying, oh, Al Gore beat him on all these things that George W. Bush obviously didn't know. He's a naive. He's somebody who doesn't get the issues. But a lot of other people thought, George Bush, he's just like me. I want to say that he won because I can imagine me doing that well in that debate against Al Gore.
I'm dumb too. I don't know what the Bush doctrine is, so she should be vice president. Maybe people are saying that, but I think the ripples are going to continue to extend from these two interviews. She is not prepared, Rachel. She really isn't.
Joan Walsh of Salon.com, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
We'll be back in just a moment.